It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
I choose people whose lives are shrouded in mystery and they've climbed the greasy pole. They want to be famous, they want to be influential, they want to be powerful.
Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
They want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
She flirts openly with other men.
What if the royal fairy tale you bought into was nothing more than a stage play dressed up in glitter, an illusion so polished it fooled millions worldwide until the cracks grew too wide to hide? Because when you strip down the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry story, you don't find elegance or honesty. You find a brand dripping with contradictions, desperate scandals, and hypocrisy so bold it makes Hollywood look tame.
To tell the truth, I spoke to very few friends of Meghan because she put a fatwa on anyone talking to me who she could. So I sent off dozens and dozens of emails to her friends, and most of them didn't even reply.
Meghan didn't just want to be Diana 2.0. She wanted the crown, the tears, the adoration, the headlines, all without putting in the years of quiet dignity Diana carried. Instead, she turned herself into the Duchess of never-ending drama, chasing sympathy like a reality show contestant who knows their only shot at airtime is another meltdown. And Harry? Once a soldier who carried himself with pride, he's now reduced to Meghan's PR shadow, repeating the same victim script like someone stuck on autopilot. This isn't a love story anymore. It's a Netflix soap opera spiraling out of control, starring two leads who don't even realize the audience already walked out. And now Tom Bower isn't simply pulling back the curtain, he's tearing it down piece by piece, exposing whispers Meghan prayed would disappear, the infamous yacht girl rumors, the contradictions that come straight from Meghan's own mouth, the endless obsession with chasing Diana's ghost, a crown she was never destined to wear.
Harry, being a simple soul, has easily changed to suit Meghan's agenda.
But here's the wild twist no one dares to say out loud. Meghan and Harry aren't rebels fighting the system. They've become the system's most scandalous sideshow. They aren't fighting the system, they are the system, twisting it with manipulation, staged pain, and endless PR spin to cash in on the same monarchy they swear ruined their lives. And the more they talk, the more people stop listening because the act is wearing thin. But what Tom Bower just dropped takes this whole scandal to a darker, more disturbing level than anyone expected. From the very beginning, Meghan's fascination with Princess Diana wasn't just admiration, it was calculation. While the world remembered Diana as a woman who carved her name into history with genuine compassion and heartbreaking tragedy, Meghan was busy treating her like a blueprint for a role she was desperate to play. Bower paints her as someone who didn't just admire Diana, she studied her like homework. Every tilted chin, every hand pose, every carefully timed teardrop, Meghan tried to copy and paste it into her own public image.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament.
But in the end, nothing beats the truth, the real facts.
She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
So when Meghan came along into the scene, I just thought, this is fascinating. How is this going to play out?
But here's the harsh reality. You can't fake authenticity. Every forced smile, every staged head tilt, every watery-eyed performance reeked of desperation. Instead of sympathy, the crowd rolled their eyes because they could smell the acting from a mile away. And Harry? Instead of protecting his mother's memory, he practically handed her legacy over like a script to a woman who saw Diana not as family, but as a brand she could exploit. Imagine the insult, turning Diana's humanity into Meghan's cosplay. That wasn't tribute, that was marketing. Meghan thought she could crown herself the new Diana, but instead, she ended up looking like the bargain bin version, a knockoff that no audience wants to buy. Diana's memory wasn't just copied, it was cheapened. Meghan's knockoff version was so see-through, it destroyed the very mystique she was desperate to claim. And Harry, completely blinded by obsession, he played along, dragging his mother's legacy into their never-ending circus of victimhood. What was once sacred became nothing more than a stage prop, and once that line was crossed, there was no way back.
Who she could use and who could serve her purposes. She did want him because she then was promoted from an unknown actress into a global star.
But as Tom Bower reveals, Meghan's obsession with Diana was only the opening act. The next chapter dives even deeper into darkness, and it ties directly to Meghan's most explosive rumor, the one she wishes could be deleted from every corner of the internet. Because if her Diana cosplay was embarrassing, the whispers about her so-called yacht girl past are downright scandalous. Bower doesn't sugarcoat it. He lays out the shadowy whispers Meghan fought tooth and nail to bury, images of her spotted mingling on luxury yachts with billionaires, wealthy playboys, and Hollywood's behind-the-scenes power brokers. Not as an up-and-coming actress with raw talent, but as someone who knew the real currency in those circles wasn't scripts or auditions. It was charm, proximity, and calculated connections. Let's be blunt. Meghan didn't climb the ladder of fame, she floated on it. Those yachts weren't just vacations, they were networking arenas disguised as luxury getaways. And yet later, she tried to sell the world a polished rags-to-riches story of a struggling actress who fought her way to the top. That fairy tale collapses the second you trace the trail of blurry photographs, quiet whispers, and carefully buried anecdotes that keep surfacing.
What I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013, and she wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and there's no doubt she targeted Harry.
And Harry? He knows these rumors exist. He's not blind. Yet he stands beside her, pretending her past was a fairy tale romance, when to outsiders, it looks like something far seedier. More like a casting couch on water scandal than the royal love story they keep selling. The real brutality of it all is this. Meghan's so-called Hollywood success was never about auditions or scripts. It wasn't raw talent that got her through the door. It was access. It was attaching herself to the right power brokers, shaking the right hands, and working the right rooms until finally she landed the ultimate jackpot, Prince Harry, a man too blinded by charm to realize he was just another stepping stone on her climb to global fame. Bauer doesn't hold back, and his claim stings because it rings true. Meghan didn't stumble into royalty by chance. She mapped it out. She networked, calculated, and surfed her way into the palace like someone running a long con. And if the yacht whispers weren't damaging enough, her endless contradictions once inside royal walls only made the scandal scream louder. Because if Meghan's past looked murky, her present is pure chaos, a tangled mess of lies so sloppy even a soap opera writer would throw out the script in disbelief. One day, she claims she barely even knew who Harry was before meeting him. The next day, she brags about studying his every move like a fangirl strategist.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Which one is it? Innocent outsider or mastermind operator? You can't be both, but Meghan keeps trying to play both roles at once. And the worst part? Harry just nods along like a puppet, parroting the same contradictions without realizing how absurd it all sounds. Every interview, every staged photo, every speech, what's supposed to look like truth comes off like bad acting. The world sees the cracks, but inside their bubble, they keep pretending the script still works. These shifting narratives aren't just sloppy. They're dangerous. Every time Meghan flips her story, she exposes herself as someone willing to bend reality whenever it suits her moment. And the more she talks, the less believable she becomes. The public doesn't buy it anymore. The palace saw through it. Hollywood insiders whispered about it. And now the whole world is watching her carefully crafted tales collapse under their own weight. Instead of looking like a strong woman battling the odds, she looks like someone scrambling to keep the script straight and failing miserably. And Harry, once respected for his blunt honesty, he's been downgraded to a supporting role in Meghan's ongoing production, where truth takes a back seat and optics run the show.
And then they put out pictures of Lilibet, but it doesn't. You see her half covered,
right.
But what you always see is Meghan. So it's all about Meghan again.
Tom Bauer doesn't sugarcoat it. These contradictions aren't slip-ups, they're deliberate strategy. But the problem is, it's a strategy so clumsy and so transparent that every time Meghan opens her mouth, she chips away at what little credibility she has left. And once credibility is gone, the fall from grace doesn't just happen. It accelerates like a crash. Meghan believed Hollywood would welcome her forever, rolling out the red carpet for a Duchess-turned-starlet. But she's learning the brutal reality. Hollywood doesn't reward pretenders, it chews them up and spits them out. The power players she once courted, now they won't even return her calls. Deals vanish, partnerships collapse, producers quietly distance themselves, and not because of some shadowy conspiracy. It's simple. No one wants to bet on a brand drowning in scandal, contradictions, and self-inflicted drama. Netflix didn't fumble. Spotify didn't fumble. Meghan and Harry fumbled. Badly. They turned golden opportunities into cringe-worthy disasters, stuffed with contradictions, complaints, and zero substance. What should have been groundbreaking projects ended up looking like bloated therapy sessions nobody asked for. Hollywood loves a good reinvention, but Meghan's endless spin only exposed her as a fraud, and Harry, instead of grounding her, became the awkward sidekick, tagging along and doubling the embarrassment every time he spoke. The same celebrities who once flashed smiles for photo ops now ghost her entirely, because in Hollywood, reputation is currency, and Meghan's value tanked faster than their Netflix ratings. She marketed herself as a feminist icon, a fearless voice for change. But the second the spotlight dimmed, the mask slipped. She wasn't a leader, she was an actress, still chasing sympathy instead of respect. Hollywood can smell desperation from a mile away, and Meghan reeks of it.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombshells.
Every failed deal, every stiff red carpet appearance, every awkward speech proves her so-called star power was nothing but overhyped PR hot air waiting to pop. And as Meghan scrambles to save face, Tom Bower drops the harshest truth. Meghan hasn't just lost Hollywood's favor, she's radioactive. She's become a liability nobody in power dares to touch. But the ugliest part of Bower's revelations isn't just Meghan's murky past or her collapsing brand. It's what he says about her grip on Harry. From the moment they went public, Meghan allegedly staged their relationship like a production, not as Harry's equal partner, but as his handler, feeding him lines, scripting interviews, recasting him from a respected soldier into her on-call echo chamber, a prince reduced to parroting grievances on cue. That's not love, it's control, dressed up as romance, and the world is finally catching on. Meghan always demands center stage, while Harry slowly fades into a sad caricature of himself, awkward, bitter, and visibly lost. Tom Bower rips through the illusion, showing how every photo op, every staged handhold, every wide-eyed, just like Diana pose was nothing more than a script designed to keep Meghan in control of the story. And Harry? He surrendered willingly. He abandoned his family, his duty, and his dignity to become nothing more than the face of Meghan's PR campaign. Once, he was the soldier who represented loyalty and courage. Now he's reduced to a broken mouthpiece, a walking prop in his wife's endless hunt for attention. This isn't partnership, it's manipulation in plain sight. And the price tag is Harry's very identity. Bower makes it brutally clear. Meghan didn't just marry Harry, she rewrote him. She hollowed him out and repackaged him as her accessory, a royal trophy turned into a megaphone for her grievances. And if that sounds harsh, the truth is even uglier. Because Harry isn't leading this story at all. He's following cues, playing a role he never auditioned for, trapped in a narrative where his own voice barely exists. The tragedy? The world remembers who he used to be, which only makes his transformation into Meghan's sidekick look even more humiliating. Harry is stuck in a trap, and Meghan's the one holding the key.
That Meghan never really intended to stay. Her guest list to her wedding showed her real ambition was to be a star in California, and Harry's friends were excluded from the guest list in the evening from the dinner.
When the sympathy train started running on empty, Meghan pulled her most shameless card, her own children, and little Lilibet, instead of being protected as an innocent child, became a headline tool, timed and staged like part of a PR rollout. Tom Bower exposes how Meghan choreographs stories and appearances around her daughter, not from maternal instinct, but as if she's plotting a media campaign. It's cold, it's calculated, and it's cynical to the core. Lilibet isn't treated like family, she's treated like a shield. Whenever public opinion turns on Meghan, suddenly motherhood becomes the armor she hides behind. She drapes herself in the image of a doting mom when the press heat gets too hot, then vanishes back into silence the moment accountability knocks on her door. And Harry, instead of protecting his daughter from this circus, he just stands by, letting her be dragged into Meghan's constant war for attention. Every staged mention of Lilibet reeks of calculation, whether it's the first photo releases, the name controversy with the Queen, or the conveniently timed sympathy pushes whenever Meghan's reputation takes another nosedive. Bower paints the picture clearly. This isn't parenting, it's exploitation. Meghan doesn't carry authenticity. She weaponizes innocence, and that's a stain no Hollywood makeover can scrub clean. The world sees it, the press whispers it, and even her once powerful allies are stepping back. Because when a brand relies on children as props, the backlash hits harder than any palace feud ever could. The constant tugging at Diana's ghost, the victim act, and now even using her own daughter for headlines. It's not strength, it's desperation. Meghan looks less like a mother protecting her family, and more like a strategist exploiting it, willing to gamble with anything if it keeps her name alive. By the time Meghan and Harry's empire started to crumble, the only people shocked were Meghan and Harry themselves. Tom Bower slices through the illusion, showing how their so-called brand, once sprinkled in royal fairy dust, has collapsed into a punchline of hypocrisy and staged victimhood. What began as fascination has rotted into fatigue. The Oprah interview, once sold as a bombshell, is now remembered as exaggeration and half-truths. Their Netflix series? Instead of building icons, it exposed narcissists who couldn't stop whining while the audience tuned out. Every move Meghan makes screams calculation. Every project reeks of opportunism. And Harry doesn't look like her husband anymore. He looks like her bodyguard. And when fake empowerment speeches collide with endless pity parties, the result isn't admiration, it's backlash. Hollywood doesn't see Meghan as inspirational. They see her as toxic, and Harry's sinking with her. Deals don't collapse by chance. Reputations don't crumble overnight. This is what happens when arrogance finally collides with reality. Meghan thought she could outplay the palace, outshine Hollywood, and outmaneuver the press. Instead, she stands exposed, her brand shredded, her credibility burned, her influence reduced to little more than gossip fodder. Tom Bower nails it brutally. Meghan Markle isn't the modern Diana she dreamed of becoming. She's the cautionary tale of what happens when ambition devours itself alive. Strip away the glitz, the stage tears, the endless spin, and what's really left? Not the royal rebels they sold us, not the humanitarian power couple they pretended to be, but two fallen stars clinging desperately to relevance while their empire of contradictions collapses in plain sight. Bower's revelations slam the door shut on any illusion of authenticity. Meghan isn't some misunderstood victim. She's a strategist tangled in her own web of lies. And Harry, he isn't a prince leading change. He's the sidekick stumbling through her script, a prop in a show no one's watching anymore. Their story is no fairy tale. It's a headline about what happens when brand management replaces truth, and when ambition finally eats away integrity. And here's the kicker. As explosive as these secrets are, they're only the beginning. Because if you think Meghan's obsession with control and reputation has been exposed here, wait until you see the bombshell tied to those infamous yacht girl photos. Colin Jost dragged the whispers into the spotlight, unleashing images Meghan would do anything to erase. That scandal makes today's revelations look tame, and it's the one scandal she can't outrun. If you want to see exactly what has Meghan rattled to the core, click on my previous video. Meghan Markle unhinged after Colin Jost exposes her leaked yacht girl photos online. Trust me, you won't believe how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Don't forget to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more truth behind the headlines. See you in the next one.